Alexis Hughes is your safe space to explore mortality without stigma. From heartfelt conversations and practical tools to personal insights on grief, healing, and living fully, this podcast breaks down the barriers surrounding death. Tune in on Transformation Talk Radio and start turning fear into understanding. Visit withoutfeardoula.com to learn more.
Want a speaker who can inspire your audience and keep them laughing and learning all in the same moment? I'm Erica Gummany, and that's exactly what I hope to do when blending personal stories, deeper spiritual insights, and practical wisdom with a whole lot of humor that keeps everyone engaged. My intention is to create safe, transformative spaces where real growth and connection happen. Book me to speak or facilitate something amazing at yourpivotalpoint.com.
Have you ever faced a situation where you weren't quite sure how to handle it with poise, confidence, and grace? Of course you have. We all have. Well, tune in to the Change Mastery Show with me, John J. Murphy. Together, my co-host, Dr. Pat, and I will introduce you to a different way to think about change. Not as something to fear or resist, but as a gift. Join us the second Wednesday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Subscribe, share, and start your journey to mastery at johnjmurphy.org.
Do you want to better understand and embrace neurodiversity? Tune in to Universally Unique, exploring the neurodiverse world of the extraordinary. Join Dr. Lori every second and fourth Monday at 11:30 Pacific Time on Transformation Talk Radio, as she and her guests share powerful stories of neurodiverse experiences, navigating a world not built for diversity. Connect with Dr. Lori Noto today at notoholisticconsulting.com.
Hi, I'm Michelle.
Are you ready to reclaim joy in your life? Why joy? Why now? Welcome to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei, your joy guru. While the world looks like it's at a breaking point, burnout, stress, isolation, and overwhelm dominate the headlines. Within all this, there's a longing for something deeper, something that heals beyond the mind. Joy fuels health, sparks expansive thought, aligns us spiritually, and connects us to one another. Join me as I weave astrology, intuition, and modern psychology to ignite your soul's highest alignment. Each week I sit down with luminous guests who embody joy as a spiritual path, a creative force, and a way of life. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's dive into the joy. Because when joy rules, transformation becomes inevitable. Hello, my playmates for the soul. I am so excited. You know, I'm excited because, like many of you, I'm sure, you're reinventing yourself. Some of you are conscious of that. Many of you may not be conscious of that, but that's where all of us are. So I'm going to just take 2 or 3 minutes before I bring on my luminous guest on and just talk a little bit about the cosmic weather. And I'm always going to keep it really simple. My intention is never to give you an astrology class. It's to make it as simple and usable as you can. So until the 20th of March, we're in a cycle that gets a lot of press, Mercury in retrograde. And like everything else, all things work together for good. Mercury's the planet of communication. And it's the facts, it's the logic, it's the details. Well, it's in Pisces. Pisces is spacey and intuitive and dreamy and distracted by wherever God's leading it. And so the planet Mercury's not at home in Pisces, not a judgment, not a criticism. It just means that if you're somebody who's got to have the facts and everything dotted, and you're going to be really challenged over these next 3 weeks. You're going to just be putting barriers in your way. And Mercury's retrograde, appearing to go backwards until March 20th in Pisces. So the gift is you will be guided. We're always guided, but I mean those breadcrumbs, those synchronicities, those coincidences where God remains anonymous are going to be like all the time. I mean, people with Pisces energy, like my guest knows this, but we're all going to get to draw from that energy. So a sense of humor is key right now. It's always a key, but it's really key now to be able to laugh at the things that fall through the cracks, where you go, how did that happen? How did that disappear? I sent it. Everybody saw that I sent the email. You know, again, we're all a choice. we're coming up on we're between eclipses now. And that 2 week period between eclipses are chapter markers. They're change. It's like regroup. It's like sitting in a closet and closing the door bit by bit by bit, and the light goes out, and then the closet door closes. You sit in the dark for a moment, and then the door opens and you're new. And that's where we are. And a lot of change occurs between eclipses. We had the solar eclipse, almost 2 weeks ago, not quite. And then the lunar eclipse is on Wednesday, March 3rd, Unity North, for those of you that are here, full moon ceremony. So a full moon is always an opportunity to see with greater clarity. And what's this balance that's coming up? The opportunity, Pisces, Virgo. It's to be able to see the divine in the details. Because Pisces can just get lost in the dream, and Virgo is those micro movements. It's like, I just need to shift that detail. I need to go to bed an hour earlier. I need to get up an hour earlier. I need to eat whatever it is. So that's how Virgo energy can support you. Now, it can also criticize you to death if you know the Virgo folks in your life, because Virgo's about perfection, and it's all perfect in its imperfection is what I like to say. So with that said, I want to bring on my wonderful friend and soul brother, Don Simmons, who is my guest in the nest today, and who is a Pisces and has a birthday coming up in March. So welcome, my friend.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Lorelei. It's great to be here with you and with everybody here. You're doing great work. Thank you.
I appreciate that. And you and we've done 3 shows already. It's like our
Right.
connection call, the 10 minutes that we had before the show. I think we're just in that mode. And I've known you for years. You were so present to me when I was on my health adventure. So that just, that's just that connection.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about it, I was thinking, don't we feel great when people get us?
Yeah.
Like we say, that person gets me.
Yeah.
Like they get my essence. They get
Yeah.
the essence of who I am. And most of us love that. And I feel that about you. Like you get me, and I guess the controlling part of me is always surprised by that. Wow, I let him see that.
Right. And that's the beautiful part about, that kind of combination and mixture is that, and this is something that I really try to talk about a lot, is letting go of all of the facades that we put up by just letting it out, letting out. We don't have time to really hold back anymore. And when you let out like that, yeah, I see you and I like what I see. And there may be people that, when we let those things out, people go, that's okay. Let them go. That's fine.
I've seen in the past for me being Libra, it was, oh no, I got to I can't let the audience, and now I'm having so much fun being myself. And I feel that reflection in you, like what I see in me that I see in you, that childlike, playful, spiritual, mystical. I mean, I love all the titles that AI came up for you with, for you.
Right.
So here you are coming up on a birthday and a decade, right? A new
Yes.
decade.
Yes, a
So
new decade.
how are you holding that experience that you're about to invite in?
It's really interesting how birthdays really have never affected me. And this birthday, it's a big decade. It doesn't affect me either, other than it's like, wow, isn't that interesting? I made this. That's awesome. And I know I'm going to be here for a while. I was just sort of was told that a long time ago, but it feels really good. And some time ago I had a friend that said, Don, I got to tell you, you are in that place where you are delivering wisdom now. You're an elder. And it really made me mad. It really made me mad. But they were right. And because it's that doing the work for as long as I have, I know that there are certain things that I know that I can't hold back anymore. This is not about, let me try this, let me try that, even though my ADD will certainly have me trying a lot of things. But at the same time, this is now about how you now move things out and help other people and share the wisdom. And it doesn't matter where you are on your journey, as long as you are aware of where you are on your journey.
Mm-hmm.
When I was first in the film industry, and I was doing my very first movie, and I was very blessed with working with some amazing people. And I was around these people, and I was in my early 20s, late teens. And I remember, Don, just shut up and listen.
Mm.
And I did. But
Mm.
now I'm at that place where I'm the one that now needs to be talking.
Well, and I find it so fascinating because what I'm finding for myself in this whole reinvention of myself as joy
Yeah.
is that when I witness the expression, the genius of someone else, like you have tools to champion that and to celebrate that and I do too. So I think, Pisces and Leo are the two most creative signs in the zodiac. And Pisces, of course, is one of the most spiritual signs. You've done all of that. You've done the Hollywood, you've done the film, you've done the, life has to have meaning, the mystic, I mean, the shaman, all of that.
Yeah.
So, and I said to you on our connection call, all the titles that you have. I said, do you ever get confused which hat you're wearing? Like, what is it all in service to? All these different things that you've done that have come from the joy in your soul.
Yeah. It's really, I, I, um, I was sort of initiated into a shaman world back in 1976, and then really deeper in 1986 or around that time frame. And what shamanism has taught me is that the world is so similar with each other. And shamanism can be that umbrella that you don't have to pick this hat and then take it off and put on that hat. It's all ingrained within each other. And so I'm not thinking of it in isolated forms. I'm
Okay.
thinking of it as one big light. And there are little parts that come in here that do this and then do that and then do the other thing. And so it's a form of just listening, which is what meditation is really about. And as a meditation teacher, one of the things I try to teach is listen without judgment, because that's what really meditation's about.
Yes.
And so as you begin living your life in that meditative shamanic way of listening without judgment, then you can start taking action in ways that is without ego, but because you're listening to what needs to be done.
Say a little bit more when one talks
Yeah.
about a shaman or the shamanic path. Define that, because I think a lot of people don't really know what that is.
There's a lot of confusion around that, and a lot of people have a hard time with that word, and I did too. But when I realized that the world of the shaman is the world of the one who is here to be an intermediary between heaven and earth to a large degree.
Oh,
And the idea of, and we can all do that work from time to time or full time like I do, but it's here to be a reminder of the sacredness and the not so sacredness of the world, and to be able to help an individual find themselves once again when they've gotten off track.
Yeah. So the shaman is actually a bridge?
Yeah, it is.
I
is.
did not know.
Yeah. It's like, when in certain cultures, when someone does something wrong, they're not punished, they're brought into a group, and the group sings their song to help them remember who they were. This is a song that was sort of written by their mother when they were in the womb. And so that helps them remind themselves who they are. That's what a shaman really does. It helps an individual sort of find themselves once again and guide them on their true path.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done in a way that it's not about me, it's about truth overall.
Yes.
And how that cosmic truth, how that divine truth can lay into a person, and by doing what we do, we help that bloom within the person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to even agree with what that person wants to do or anything else. It's their path.
Yes.
I'm not trying to get them to do a certain thing other than their truth.
Yes. You said just a little bit ago, you said, I've been told that I'm going to be here for a while. And you've had significant physical journey, challenges, adventures.
Yeah.
So how how do you bring those two things together? I mean, in other words, like the learning out of whatever suffering we've all suffered,
Yeah.
and yet as you continue on your path and you're going to be here for a while, and yeah, just
Yeah. So early on, I had a lot of physical pain. Nobody knew what it was. They thought I was lazy, crazy, and stupid, as they say. And then they found out that I had a thing called ankylosing spondylitis, which is arthritis of the spine and all major joints. And so my whole body was in pain. And then I developed something called Crohn's disease, which is separate, but a similar kind of autoimmune issue. And so there are actual blood markers for this, and they found out that I actually had that blood marker. So this is something that I was born with, but the physical pain actually became my teacher. Because of physical pain, I learned early on, before I knew what was going on medically, I knew that I had to be really still and listen to my body. Do I move this way? Do I not? Do I move out? Do I not? Can I take a step here? Can I run there? And I had to listen. And so that suffering, that pain, and like you said, everybody has their own thing, how it now informs you of what you're here to do. And so I continue to just move through the path of mindfulness because I'm not out of pain. That's not going to really go away. It's mitigated to a large degree, but at the same time, if I do certain things, like I'm going to pay for that. And so, it keeps me aware, mindful of what is that path, and it keeps me very humble to
it's
the
almost
suffering
like
of
it
others.
sets a boundary.
Yeah,
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 I was
that's
just
a
thinking
good
of
way to
your
put it.
Mars in Capricorn. I mean, it's almost like when you said if I move here, if I move that way, it's almost like it's like a guide rail.
It in many ways it is. I say, if I didn't have this pain, I could easily be the biggest jerk you've ever imagined.
And what would when you say jerk, meaning what?
I don't know, just one of those, because that I have that Aries moon.
I was just going to say it would have to be your fire energy, right?
Right, right. Me.
Yeah, I'm every time I connect with you, I'm sure you can do arrogance and all of the fire stuff, but you're so measured in all of that. That's my experience of you.
Yeah,
You're so balanced to me. Like
yeah,
I see your fire, I feel your fire, but it's so cloaked, not cloaked, it's so enveloped in the Pisces gentleness and kindness and compassion and forgiveness and non. Yeah, I just
yeah.
I marvel at that.
I appreciate it. It's a real I think a combination that I've learned to deal with because there's the part of me that needs to be out, that wants to be out, and then there's the part of me that wants to be in. And so I've learned to sort of deal with that. When I was in the film industry, I was both a producer and a director or assistant director. And the director, assistant director is out there commanding everything. The producer is behind the scenes, making sure everything works properly and is
Hmm.
intuitive enough to know where's the problem before the problem happens.
You know what's funny? I was just thinking, when you told me all of that years ago, I was living in
Yeah.
Mountain Park, I remember, and I loved you, but I was intimidated by you. Like
Uh,
I was intimidated by all the things because,
yeah.
and now it's just so funny because now when I listen to you, it's a whole different, it's a whole different thing going on over here than that was. You
Yeah.
never were arrogant. It was never you were the way you never. No, it
Yeah.
was my stuff. But
Right.
I was just kind of marveling at I'm hearing that same information, but I'm in a different place with it. Like I'm
Yeah.
well, like I said, I couldn't receive a lot of you, basically,
Right. Right. Right.
and that's actually good for everybody to know now because your planet, Jupiter, as a Pisces, all you Pisces folks, Jupiter is your guardian angel planet, Neptune also, but Jupiter's the main one, or not Neptune and Jupiter. Jupiter's in Cancer now until June 30th, the most emotional, sensitive, vulnerable sign in the zodiac, receiving
Hmm.
receiving, it's like, and what do I need? What does like my body need? What do I need emotionally?
Yeah.
And then, as I said to you, Jupiter's going to go into Leo. So whatever your next elevation is, to use your word, if
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah.
speak to that.
Yeah, I do. And as a matter of fact, it's interesting because I'm in the process of evolution right now. And I mean, literally, like over the last probably 3 weeks, and I know for another 2 weeks, of how I'm operating Don Simmons and what does that mean and how does that work? And I know that there's this elevation that's going to happen. And and it's the kind of thing that I need to take for myself in order to help other people. And I've helped a lot of people in certain ways. And now it's time to move into another place. So I come from a flying background. My father was a Navy pilot. He became airport manager and a flight instructor and a check pilot. And I got my license when I was 16 years old. And the part about aviation that I absolutely love is that moment when you lift off the ground and you are in a different space where everything just becomes smaller and at the same time more important. Mm-hmm. And so this is that evolution and elevation that I believe we're all taking. As we're moving towards the year 2030, the number 3 is the space of the guru, the teacher, the loving kindness person. And so we're moving more into that space. And you'll see there's a lot of stuff falling apart. A lot of stuff is drifting away. And I've been watching a lot of things recently about how the independent nature of humanity is coming about. Well, that's what prayer is all about. That's what mindfulness is all about. It's the individual nature aligning with source. That is the guru. That is the 3. Now, birthing pains are hard. So we've been in this hard place, but we are elevating as we do that. Mm-hmm. One of the things is don't judge the journey. And that's one of the, we could talk about this in a minute, the ingredients of vitamin J, vitamin joy, is that live in the moment, not judging what that moment that you just left. Don't judge it. Be mindful and be compassionate at all times. But you might go, oh, I probably wasn't as compassionate as I could have been. Let me shift into that a little bit deeper and more.
That's been my big learning, and I share that with you. Being present in a way that I've never have been, to really like, this is the moment I'm in. Gee, my stomach's not feeling well, or can I just be present without judgment, without resisting, and without attachment? And it takes discipline and vigilance, but it's so worth it.
Yeah. I just saw this interview with a former Navy SEAL who was in Havana during the time, this was about 10 years ago, when there was an attack, I can't remember what it's called, but there was an attack of sound that really messed a lot of people up. Do you remember anything about that? Mm-mm. It was direct energy influence or something like that, but it rattles you. And there's science behind that I actually had talked about 10 years ago in regards to what sound can do and how actually can harm you. But the thing that I was fascinated by is that this is a Navy SEAL. This is a guy that's not out there, meditating every day. But what he said was that when it happened, the first thing he did was to sit down and listen. And I thought, for a Navy SEAL to say that, that's huge, because he started listening to what were the little things that he was experiencing, and what did he need to do in between those times. So he started taking action depending on what he was listening to. And that same thing, what am I hearing in my body? What does my stomach need? What do I need to do now? Listening.
And we're getting a bigger dose of that now, in a sense of, because with Jupiter and Cancer, that's going to be up for more folks, where they're going to have the opportunity to get more in touch with that. So speaking of doses, can one overdose on vitamin J? Let's talk about vitamin J.
Technically, yes, because you can overdose on anything, right? Because there has to be some sort of balance with it at all anyway. But I look at the 7 ingredients to vitamin J, and this is going to be in a book that will come out at some point.
And
I
this
haven't even
came out at
started
the end
writing
of
yet.
our connection call. I couldn't believe it, and it resonated so much with me. So go.
It
Yeah.
did. So there's 7 ingredients that I've identified. The first one is play. And that is being just a little silly at every day in some way or the other. The other is live in the moment, which is that part of don't judge the journey. So what experience is coming to you? Listen and act. And that action may be, no, I'm not going to do that. Or it may be, yes, I am going to do that. The third one is learn something new. When you are learning something new, the brain synapses work very differently from what you've always been doing. And so when people come to me and they're in a breakup or something, that's really heartfelt for them, first thing I say to them is do something new. Go parachute, go learn a language, go do something that is outside of your norm, because it rewires your brain from what that old thing was. Next one, number 4, is love. When we're on social media and you see something and you go to like it, don't like it, love it. Add more value to your own emotion into it.
I appreciate you saying that, because when I do that, when I comment, I'm feeling the joy around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And,
that's.
yeah, and you want to add to more power in that.
Yes.
The fifth one is 5, dedicate yourself something that's higher and bigger than yourself. And so we move in our circles of thinking, okay, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to maybe slowly climb the ladder. Reach up to the top of the ladder and just start doing something to that. Doing something bigger and better than yourself that is of benefit to humanity. Number 6 is discernment. This is a really big one, because
And when I read that, I thought that's a perfect Virgo word. So it's perfect for you to speak to that.
yeah, with discernment, it's being aware of what's coming in and does that fit with you. Now, there's a difference between what you feel is right and what is truth. And so we want to recognize what is truth for ourselves and how that truth really fits into the discernment. Because whatever's coming probably has an agenda of some sort on their side. Does it work for you? And this is one of the things we're really, really seeing, especially in the media these days. Whatever truth they're trying to push to us, is it really right? We're finding a lot of that truth is not. And so we have to live in that state of discernment without judging whatever that is coming to you. Like, oh, okay, well, you can say that if you want to. I don't buy it. I'm going to go this way instead.
Yes.
No judgment. That's the key.
That's
and
the key.
And the 5th one is pray. And when we move into
the 7th one, you mean?
7th one, yeah. 7th one is pray, and I add in meditation. Prayer is talking to God, meditation, listening to God. But the key is being in a place of recognizing that that source lives within you. So when you are in prayer or in meditation, you really are coming back to yourself. And what a joyful place that is.
Is it ever? Is it ever? So why 7? Any particular reason why you picked 7 different things?
Because it's your life path number.
Let me tell you why 7. Yeah, it's my life path number, but it's also the most perfect number, because it's the 4 elements and the 3 modalities. Like we have water, fire, earth, air, water, and then we have initiating signs and fixed signs and adaptable signs. Like you, Pisces is the adaptable water sign.
Right.
So I love the 7. And then when I found out I was a 7 life path, which I didn't really know what that meant, but then you said something before that totally blew me away. You said 3 is the guru. I'm born on October 3rd.
There you go.
And I'm calling myself the joy guru.
Right. So that's the thing, is that you've got 2 numbers in numerology that are on the spiritual path. You have to be in your spiritual path all the time. It's what you do.
So the 7, so what is the 7?
The 7 is the sacred firekeeper. You're here to be with people, to help people to find their light. The 3 is the guru that listens to God and then takes it to humanity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So we're going to do more, obviously, but so we just have like a minute or a little more than a minute. How do you like to work with people, and how can people reach you?
One of the things that's evolving with me, I'm looking at doing longer things rather than just one-on-one, 1 hour at a time. I still do that because I come from a crisis background, and so I'm good with helping people through crisis. But I'm even looking at crisis as a longer deal because this is bigger. And so I do that. I'm also moving into more public speaking and things like that.
Yeah. Well, and as we talked about on our connection call, the whole crisis and the whole being with people in dark places and all of that. I mean, you have Pluto, the planet of power, essentially on your doorway to the world, and your sun in Pisces is in the Scorpio house. So
Right.
I adore you. I thank you for being so present to what's going on the planet, and for showing up and continuing to do what you do with
Thank
so
you.
much love and compassion and kindness and joy. And thank you for the vitamin J. I am going to be with that. Vitamin J, guys.
That's it. Thank you, Lorelei.
I love
Love
you,
you.
Don. Blue
Love
skies,
you.
green lights, lucky stars, everyone. Thank you for listening to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei Robbins, your joy guru. If this episode sparked something in you, don't keep joy to yourself. Share and spread the light. Tune in the second and fourth Friday of the month at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Transformation Talk, where together we reclaim joy as the foundation for transformation. To dive deeper, visit me at joyrules.com. And remember, joy isn't optional, it's essential. And visit joyrules.com for lots more joy. Until next time, keep choosing joy and join the joy revolution. And until we connect, I wish you blue skies, green lights, and lucky stars.